This is how I'm feeling this morning. So I've been wanting to share this, or I've been having this thought process, and I wanted to share it this morning. It's so normal for us to spend these really large amounts of money on certain things. But then what I experience as someone who sells courses, sells mentorships, and also does all of these things myself, I have invested a lot of money in myself. It makes other people really uncomfortable when I tell them how much I've spent on myself. But it's so normal, like, oh, I spent $100,000 on college, or I spent $100,000 on my wedding. Even like I spent $30,000 on my wedding. Like, that's a lot of money. I spent this amount on my house. Like, we're really conditioned that it's okay to spend large chunks of money, but then when there are things that our soul wants us to do, these are more like, oh, well, that's not responsible. There's not an immediate payoff to this, or here's really what it is. There's not a tangible payoff. There's not something that I can see that I can own or acquire with this. There's not a guaranteed result from it. Something like, I want to go travel the world, or I want to go do experience in Hawaii, or I want to go do yoga teacher training in Bali. I did that. Or I want to invest in this mentorship, or I want to invest in this experience that's for my personal growth. And we don't value we value it, but we don't see the tangible outcome from the things that our soul draws us towards, because those results are likely going to be internal. They're not going to be something you can tangibly say, here is what happened, here is the exact shift. That doesn't mean that it's not valuable and not important. Over the next month, I'm going to be talking a lot about the patriarchy and matriarchal systems. And this is such a perfect example, actually, of how we are affected by a patriarchal system. If there's not an immediate result, if there's not an immediate outcome of this is what I get from doing this, and I can show everybody this is tangible, we have a little bit of resistance to it. We have to really, when this sort of conditioning is coming into play, and really ask ourselves, what is the type of life that I want to live? If I'm being drawn to something, what part of me would not think that I will be supported in doing it? What part of me is clinging to fear, scarcity, lack? And that could be a wide variety of things. It might feel like I don't have the money to do this, or what are people around me going to think if I do this, or I'm going to look stupid if I do this, or what if I do this and it doesn't work? Like, all those forms of thinking keep us so small. And if you know anything about my story, you know that I always do shit like this. I invest in myself big. I do big things that nobody else understands. And I've never regretted it. Your soul will never lead you astray. And if afterwards you're like, not sure if I would do that again. Or you probably would still do it again because you can have such a beautiful lesson, or you have such a beautiful experience from it. Or you learn something so valuable that you can then apply to something different. But for me, honestly, following my soul has always been 100%. I'm so glad that I did that. That was such a beautiful experience. And I just, it really hurts my heart because I see so many people who aren't doing things because of the money, because they're afraid what people will think of them, because it requires them to go too far out of their comfort zone, staying in jobs they hate for so many years, staying in the same city because they're afraid of going somewhere new, even though they want to get out of that city, like limiting or scaling down what somebody is wanting to do because they're afraid. And it's like, fear is so conditioned in us. Don't allow it to control you. Why I teach everything that I teach about how the universe works, how to work with the quantum fields, how to create a life by your design. This is what I started teaching 5 years ago. And now it's a Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. I can wake up when I want. I'm literally reading my book here. I have calls with my mentors later today. And then I'm going to be working on creating stuff for my clients, working with my clients the rest of the day. You can create whatever type of lifestyle you want. It's just that boxed in thinking that the patriarchy creates to make us slaves. To make us slaves. It's not a lie, it's the truth. Think about it, really feel it. And how do we do this? We call upon our feminine energy. This wasn't going to be like a thing to talk about the masterclass, but it's here, so I'm going to use it. We have to remember our true power. We have to remember our power as creators. Anyways, the masterclass is June 12th. It's free. It's at 1 o'clock. Sign up. If you can't come, you can get the replay, but I'd like for you to be there live if possible. It'll be more juicy and fun that way. But we're going to be talking about the 3 cycles of the feminine that allow you to start to own, feel, embody your full power. Feminine energy does not operate in the same way as masculine energy does. So when we try to utilize the same linear functioning, it's just not going to work. We're missing out on so much of our charge, of our battery charge, by not understanding these cycles. And there's a very clear reason why we haven't learned about them, because the system we have would dissolve if all of us were in our full feminine power, because she is the creatrix. So we're going to be going into 3 of these cycles. The link is in my bio if you want to join.